What's going on, everybody? Uh, Not gonna call this drive time because I'm not driving. I'm actually waiting. Um, so guess I chime in on the whole thing. I'm gonna lean back. Chime in on this whole thing with Charlie Kirk. It's a lot of people out here celebrating this, and this is really sad. Like them, love them, hate them, whatever. It's never okay to celebrate a person being murdered, especially in a public fashion like that. You can look back at many of the figures in our history of the country that have been murdered in the same way, and it's not okay to celebrate and applaud it. You may not agree with their political stance, their religious stance, or whatever. That's fine. Um, but the ironic part is, he was one of the main people that if you disagreed, have a conversation about it. And we have gotten to a point where people can't. I made a video a day ago or so where I talked about like all the things that people do when they can't do that, and it ultimately ends sometimes like this. I see people trying to make every excuse they can to make this okay and to make it okay to react the way that some people are reacting. But at the end of the day, this dude had a wife, two little girls, little. Like, I think both of his daughters are under the age of 10. And they got to grow up with the internet in place. That's going to be an archive of all these people that celebrated when daddy got shot at work. Um, I've seen people try to justify it. You can't. If you can fix it in your head to be okay with that, there's something wrong with you. You're a sick individual. I'm just be completely plain about it. And it's one of those times where when people talk to me and they'll say, "Oh, well, why are you so religious, or why do you talk about the Bible so much?" This is why. Because any biblical person will look at this and go, even if I didn't like him or anything he said, I'm still not going to react that way for the sake of his family, who had nothing to do with it, his wife and his little girls, whatever. You wouldn't. If you don't have some sort of a moral guiding compass or something, then you can justify it. You can say, "Oh, well, he said such and such and such and such, so therefore, who cares if he gets murdered?" Like, my argument to people when they say that is, if you okay with him being shot for what he says, you okay with you being shot for what you say. Personally, I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's a good way to handle things, but this is the climate that we live in right now, is where you don't like a person's words, you can't out debate them, so just get rid of them. Uh, like I said, that's my thoughts on it. If you cool with that, that's on you. If you got people around you that's cool with it, my suggestion is you start doing a little bit of a spring cleaning in your Facebook and in your Instagrams or whatever. You can see your followers and people around you talking like that. That's when you know who to distance yourself from. Because, and again, this is only the people who adopt Christianity or whatever the way I do. If you don't, then whatever. Who cares? Um, but if you a God fearing person, you should be paying attention to that. You should be paying attention to if there's people applauding, celebrating a person being murdered. And I've seen people make the argument, well, I'm not applauding it. I just don't care. I'm indifferent. That's different. That's a whole different thing. Like, you don't know a person and you're not going to take a big, huge effect on something that happened to them. Okay, that's cool. Whatever. Um, but I'm talking specifically about the people who are applauding it or the people who are defending applauding it. Because I've even seen as far as what people will say, well, I'm not applauding it, but I mean, if somebody else is, then oh well. Nah. As human beings, as a society, that's not a good look at all. Because again, this is not, he's not a politician. He don't write policies. He didn't, like, sign bills. He went out and talked about stuff and had conversations with people. Again, if you don't like what he said, okay. My thing is always, if you don't like what a person say, defend your point. That's better. But when people can't, we got to resort to other topics. So, like I said, I wanted to chime in on it. I had a couple minutes. I strongly advise, if you're around people in close proximity that's applauding and celebrating this, evaluate them and evaluate yourself. Now, if you agree with them, hey, you're in the right company. But if not, it might be time for y'all to either sit down and have a conversation or stop having conversations. Because again, it tells you a lot morally when a person can see a person murdered in a crowd full of people and then make flippant comments about it as if they're proud that it happened. So that's my take.